Zach Wilson's college coach has a message for every Jet fan that is doubting Zach Wilson ahead of his second season in the NFL. What did he have to say? We're talking all about it in today's Jake Asman Show. So let's hit it and get it started. Hit it! Welcome in, everyone. My name is Jake Asman. This is the Jake Asman Show. The Jets just had one of their greatest wins in the last 20-something years, and we're going to break it all down. Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh, C.J. Mosley, Joe Douglas, Elijah Moore, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. I think this is an excellent pick. A super chat, you cut the line, smash the like button down below. That's that thumbs up icon. Now, let's talk about the New York Jets. Here we go on a Sunday. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. A little Sunday show coming at you here. We got some new comments from Zach Wilson's head coach at BYU, Kalani Setaki, that I want to talk about. He was a guest on the Rich Eisen Show, and Rich, who of course everyone knows is a big Jet fan, asked him about Zach Wilson, who Zach's coach at BYU actually spoke with days removed from the surgery that Zach Wilson had this past Tuesday. So we're going to talk about those comments here in the show. Before we dive into that, just a reminder, we will do our first live post-game show following tomorrow night's Monday night football game against the Atlanta Falcons. I've made my point over and over again. My preference would be the least amount of starters play as possible, but it does sound like Joe Flacco is going to play. So if that's the case, my only goal, my only objective is for him to leave the game without an injury, because so far the Jets are 0 for 1 this preseason with the starting quarterback not suffering a major injury. Obviously, with Zach, we thought it was season ending a week ago. It wasn't. Let's hope with Joe Flacco it's smooth and he's not hurt. So that's all I want to see tomorrow night. We'll have a live postgame show where we will take some calls during it following the show. So check that out here on the YouTube channel. And if you're a Jet fan who hasn't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We talk Jets every single day on this channel. Now for the main topic before we open it up to a little Q&A here on a Sunday. I'm going to play you the comments from the BYU head coach. This was Rich Eisen questioning Setaki all about Zach Wilson.
Have you spoken to Zach Wilson? That's the Jet fan in me asking. Have you chatted with him?
Yeah.
Okay. How's he doing?
The kid's going to be fine. He's going to be good. I don't know the timetable of it all, but I've been anticipating this year for him, and so is he. And I know a lot about this guy, but he's resilient. He'll find a way, and he seems to always show up when everything's stacked against him, and you'll get the best Zach Wilson. So if I were a Jets fan, I'd be really excited.
I am, but I don't like the fact that he's here in Los Angeles with, recovering from knee surgery right now, and after knee last year, and his knees. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm concerned.
He responds to adversity. That's his name, man. That's synonymous with who he is as a person. He'll find a way to make it work.
Okay, and he's happy when you spoke to him. He sounded happy, or he sounded out of it.
Of course, yeah. He had good news, and as best as he could have been. So he's really positive. If you know anything about him, he's a positive person, and he's going to support his team and be a great teammate. And whenever his number is called, he's going to be ready to roll.
So let's talk about some of the comments there, right? First things first, let me get it out of the way. What's he supposed to say, right? I got to think Setaki's going to come on the Rich Eisen Show and be like, yeah, Zach Wilson stinks. It's amazing. He was good for us at BYU. But I like the part that he highlighted about Zach always responding to adversity. I went down a little memory lane with Zach Wilson. If you look at Zach Wilson's career in college, it wasn't all, sunshine and roses. He plays really well as a freshman when given the opportunity to start. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's actually the quarterback, if you recall, when BYU won the 2019 Idaho Potato Bowl, a bowl game unlike any other, right? So Zach Wilson is the quarterback then. This is when he still wore number 11 before he switched to number 1. And then his sophomore season at BYU did not go according to plan. He got hurt. He got benched because of it. His stat line, not great. 11 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions in 9 games played. His completion percentage dropped. So he was not as good in 2019 as he was in 2018. Here's the difference, though. Zach Wilson worked at it going into his junior year, responded to some of that adversity that Setaki was talking about, and he went out there and played 12 games for BYU that season And people forget, through 33 touchdowns against 3 interceptions, went out there, had his completion percentage go from 62.4% to 73.5%, and threw for over 3,600 yards, almost 3,700 yards. We all know the story. Zach has this great final year, gets drafted second overall by the Jets, but everyone always talks about Zach Wilson's ability to respond to adversity. Let's remember, we saw this even last year with the Jets, to be fair to Zach. He gets hurt in that Patriot game. He misses 4 games. He comes back, and Zach Wilson plays his best ball down the stretch. So there's something to be said about Zach Wilson coming off injury or coming off poor performance and playing well. And we saw that obviously last year with the Jets, and every BYU fan watching the show, and I thank all the ones who do, they saw it when Zach was in college. So the ability to respond to adversity, I think, is something that Zach's going to need to have, playing quarterback in the biggest media market in the world, playing quarterback for a tortured franchise that is the Jets. And really, I think Setaki's right as far as, Zach's going to be a good teammate. You know that when he gets his opportunity, he believes he's going to take advantage of those opportunities. And Zach's going to get a chance here. Some of you are all in on the Joe Flacco train, thinking the Jets are going to start 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 with Flacco. One, I don't see that happening. And two, I don't see Flacco playing 3 or 4 games. I think at the most, Joe Flacco's playing 2 games. And I'm telling you, if the Jets are 2-0, they got to go back to Zach Wilson. I don't care if Flacco looks great in those games. I hope he does. The future of this team is in the hands of Zach Wilson. We need to know what he is as a quarterback, whether it's good or bad. We need to find out. Joe Flacco's 37 years old. He hasn't been a full-time starter in the NFL since 2017. He's not that guy anymore. He's just not. I like Joe Flacco. I think he can go out there and give the Jets a chance in these games that he's in. But we need to know about Zach Wilson. He's the second pick in the draft. And as Setaki talked about, he's always responded to adversity, responded to it his junior year, responded to it even last year. The last 7 games he played, but really those last 5 games, I thought we saw a much different version of Zach Wilson. So we need to see, man. But Zach Wilson's got to play. That's the biggest thing from a Wilson standpoint. I don't know if he's going to play week 1. I don't think it's impossible he does. I lean towards him probably coming back week 2. But I don't see any scenario where Joe Flacco's playing week 3 if Zach's healthy. The only way Zach Wilson is not playing week 3 or week 4 is if he's not 100% with practice time. Because I don't think it's just, well, he's 100%, he's out there. I think it's he's 100% and had a full week of practice. I think practice is going to be important for Zach Wilson. The one thing his injury is doing, sadly, he's missing out on a lot of reps. These joint practices would have been huge for Zach Wilson. The way Joe Flacco's playing against the Falcons, that could have been Zach. The way Joe Flacco could go out there and play against the Giants defense next week in the joint practices, that could have been Zach. So that valuable practice time he's missing. It's why I don't think Zach plays week 1, even if he's healthy, because they're going to want to get him a full week. Let's say this injury takes 4 weeks to recover from, and the Jets have said 4 to 6 weeks. They've told other people 2 to 4 weeks. I think they're trying to set this fan base up to expect longer, and then in case Zach does come back early, they can say he's ahead of schedule. But the reality is they're not putting him back on the field unless he's healthy. So many Jet fans are like, well, Joe Flacco needs to play. Let Zach sit. Yeah, Zach's going to sit until he's healthy. Then he needs to play. He's the second pick in the draft, and pretty much every Jet fan was encouraged by what they did this offseason, was encouraged by what they did to help Zach Wilson. Certainly was encouraged, I would think, by the way Zach Wilson finished last season statistically and just really more importantly, what the eye test told you. So this season's still all about, Zach Wilson playing and developing and learning if this 23-year-old can eventually be the team's long-term answer at quarterback. His last 7 starts, he had 9 total touchdowns against 3 total turnovers. Are those numbers eye-popping? No, but the eye test told you with limited talent around him. No Jamison Crowder, no Corey Davis, no Elijah Moore, no tight end. I don't care who the tight end you want to mention. They all stunk last year. He went out there and played well. So no, Zach Wilson throwing a bad interception in his first preseason drive should make you feel like they made a mistake with Zach and we got to ride it out with Flacco now. That's just silly talk and people overreact. I don't think this team is going to go out there and they're going to start 3-0 if Flacco's the quarterback anyway. So the sooner Zach gets out there, the better. They need him to play. We need to evaluate what he is. Because I got news for you. If Zach's not the guy, whoever the quarterback is next year, you would think would be walking into a pretty good situation. Like, this is a young football team on the offensive side of the ball. Elijah Moore is not going anywhere. Garrett Wilson is not going anywhere. Breece Hall and Michael Carter are not going anywhere. Jeremy Ruckert is not going anywhere. AVT is not going anywhere. You have young building blocks on the offensive side of the ball besides the quarterback, who obviously needs to go out there and prove that he could be the long-term answer. So if Zach's not the guy, the next quarterback, whether it's someone in the draft or it's a veteran they acquire in a trade or free agency, they're stepping into a pretty good situation here, right? Like I look at a team like the Cleveland Browns. They went out there and they acquired Deshaun Watson because Baker Mayfield was, he was okay. He's coming off a bad year where he was injury plagued, but they went all in for Deshaun because they're like, we got a good team. The Jets have a good team around Zach Wilson. At least on offense, they do. Maybe they're pretty young on defense. They're not there all the way, but they need to find out what the quarterback is. That's why, like some of you are saying, well, just ride the hot hand with Flacco and see if he can be 2015 Fitz or 98 Vinny. It's silly talk, man. You can't do that when you played Zach Wilson as the second pick in the draft for as many games as they did last year. The time to play Joe Flacco and let Zach Wilson sit and watch would have been last year. They didn't do it. Joe Flacco was not on this team at the beginning of last year. He should have been, as I said on the show a year ago. I didn't love the fact that Mike White was the only backup quarterback and James Morgan, who I think got cut even before the season. That was a mistake. You want to criticize Joe Douglas for that? You can, but that's in the past. All right? Joe Flacco's here now to be a backup. If he was going to start, the time for him to start would have been last year before Zach Wilson plays. So overall, Zach's got to play. It's as simple as that as soon as he's healthy and he gets adequate practice time. Now, as far as what to expect from Joe Flacco, he's going to give the team a chance to operate their offense. If they could run the ball, I think Joe Flacco can make plays downfield. I think it will set up the play action. I think Joe Flacco could get the ball out quick to the playmakers. He's not going to be a reason maybe why you're winning games, but I think he's the type of quarterback that could be a reason why you're not losing games. If they give him protection, this offense is going to operate. Part of the reason, though, to be fair to Zach here, part of the reason why I think Joe's doing so well in these practices is he's a statue that can't get touched in practice. All right, Joe Flacco's 37. He's been through training camp a million times. He's not worried about getting hit. In a game, that's different. In a game, you need your quarterback to be mobile and escape the pocket. That's not Joe. So this offensive line has got to hold up and give Joe Flacco a chance if they're gonna have a chance to win Week 1 against Baltimore. Because I do think we are going to see Flacco as the starter Week 1 against the Ravens. As far as tomorrow night, if Flacco does play, I mentioned it at the top, I don't want him to get hurt. That's the biggest thing. And then also, let's see this team move the ball, get down the field, maybe score a touchdown, and that's it. If Flacco's playing, does he really need to play more than a drive if the Jets score a touchdown? No. If he's playing and he nearly gets decapitated on the first drive, that should be it. I don't even know if he should necessarily be out there. And I wouldn't be shocked, by the way, if he doesn't play at all. Based on Robert Saleh's comments, how he was unsure with the starters and referenced how he thought they got a lot of really good work in during these joint practices against Atlanta over the last 2 days. Wouldn't shock me if Joe Flacco's not the quarterback tomorrow night. We see Mike White in the first half and Chris Strebler, the legend himself, in the second half. So that's what I want to see. And the biggest thing, no injuries. No injuries, not just to Joe Flacco, but to anyone else. The football gods owe the Jets a clean preseason game where no major player gets hurt. That's all I'm asking for tomorrow night. And I don't think we're asking for too much as Jet fans for exactly that. With that being said, we're going to open it up now to your comments and questions. Super chats. We'll cut the line. If you don't know what a super chat is, it's a way where you could deposit money into my YouTube channel, and I see the comment. It comes up on the screen first, so I can pull that on the screen. We got over 200 of you watching right now. Thank you to everyone either watching live and or after the fact. Before we get to your super chats, let's talk sports betting, shall we? You could bet on this Jets game tomorrow night against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to look up the live number right now. Let's see what the latest spread is for Jets Falcons if you want to place a wager on the Jets in a little preseason football. Atlanta's a 2.5-point favorite. I probably would bet the Jets. They're at home. MetLife going to be loud. Might get a little Mike White, Chris Strebler action. Sign me up for Jets getting points at home, busr.com/Asman. You could scan the QR code. You could bet on Major League Baseball. You could bet on any sport, whether it's boxing, UFC, golf, you name it. Hopefully some of you bet on that UFC card last night. I still cannot believe Leon Edwards did what he did. And do you believe in miracles? Yes, the New York Yankees actually won a baseball game earlier today on Paul O'Neill Day. I should mention Yankees-Mets tomorrow night at the same time as Jets Falcons. So bet on all the action. It's busr.com/Asman. Scan the QR code. It's my official sports book. It should be yours too. Here we go. Comments, questions, anything on your mind. Everardo has the first word. He says, smash the like button. Thank you, Everardo. I appreciate your support. Let's see. Alex Sanchez says, catching Jake Asman after a Yankees win makes my day. Well, there have not been many of those, Alex, so appreciate you watching. Mets, are they still in a rain delay right now? I was watching that game earlier. They're playing the Phillies. I guess, it's 8-7 now, bottom of the 8th. So let's see if the Mets can pull out another win here against Philadelphia. Larry says, the only big mistake relating to Zach Wilson this year was Saleh's decision to play him behind 2 backup tackles in a preseason game. I don't want Zach playing either. I understand why he would play over Joe Flacco because Zach, obviously, they want to get him some reps, but I just didn't agree with it, and it turned out to be nearly the worst-case scenario with the injury. The Fifth Dimension Gaming says, is Wilson getting MVP or comeback player of the year? That's the spirit, baby. Jay Spector says, White and Strebler should play. Flacco doesn't need preseason game reps. He's been in the league for 15 years. Completely agree, Jay. I wouldn't play Flacco tomorrow night. I wouldn't. I think he's going to, though. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong there. I mean, it does sound like there's a chance he might not play based on Saleh's latest comments. John Starks checks in. Sup, Jake? Do you think Usman still wants Canelo after getting his brain scrambled last night? Well, what was amazing about that fight is, John, Usman was in total control. You know, that's why. But that's why you fight all 5 rounds, right? That's why they say, hey, you need a knockout to win. Every once in a while, the guy gets the knockout to win. That was an incredible display by Edwards last night. But yeah, I do not think Usman still wants Canelo right now. I think he's going to want a rematch. Steven says Green Bean kept calling Jake Asman. I mean, look, I've heard that my whole life. Green Bean was not saying that, though. He was just pronouncing it a little funny. I like to tell people it's Asman like Jasmine. It seems like that's the easiest way for people to pronounce it. But when your last name is Asman, you hear everything growing up. So that's nothing I haven't heard. I'm also a huge Seinfeld fan. So Cosmo Kramer, proctologist, I'm all about it. Zachary says, who are you most excited to see on the second team or third team? I'm excited to watch Michael Clemens tomorrow. I mean, he might not be on that third team for long, right? Let's see what he could do. Now, I would play the rookies. Like, other than, honestly, I'd play all the rookies. Like, I'm okay with using the preseason to get rookies acclimated. You got to take the injury risk with those guys. I don't need to take the injury risk with Joe Flacco, who's 37 years old and has been in the league for a billion years. But I look, if you want to play Jermaine Johnson tomorrow night, go for it. You want to play Sauce for another 10 reps, go for it. I don't think he needs to play much more than that. I don't think Brees needs to play that much. We know what he could do. So I'd like to see, the rookies get out there a little bit, but not too much. Luppy says, White needs reps. Start him in the preseason, not Flacco. I'd play Mike White a lot tomorrow. I would. Jeff says, trade Mike White to Seattle for a number 1 and number 2 draft pick next year. Seattle needs a quarterback in the worst way. Jeff, I love you. I know your name is not actually Jeff, but let's calm down. All right. Seattle is not trading you a first or a second round pick for Mike White. That's not happening. They wanted the quarterback. You know who they would want on the Jets? They'd want Joe Flacco because I think he's better than Geno and Drew Lock. But that's not going to happen either. You're not going to get a first or a second for Mike White. If you get a 4th round pick for Mike White, I think that'd be a great return. Prestige says, going to watch the Jets tomorrow in the sweet Monday Night Raw, Subway Series, and soccer tryouts. Tomorrow will be a busy day for me. Yeah, that is a busy day right there. Hopefully they could put Yankees Mets in the suite for you. Pat Riley says, do you remember John Riggins as a Jet? I do. I do not, Pat. I was not born when John Riggins played in the NFL for the Jets or the Redskins. Highlander says, Jake Usman made the same mistake Tony Ferguson made. He forgot about defending the high kicks. That was a mistake loss. Yeah, Usman's got to be kicking himself because he was the better fighter for the first 4.5 rounds of that fight. 4 rounds for sure. Sir Robin says, what's your take on Garrett Wilson's remarks about Zach Wilson's touch with the football? Do you think that's something ZW can fix? I've addressed this before, Sir Robin. Maybe you haven't seen it. I don't think Garrett Wilson was taking a shot at Zach Wilson. I think he addressed the part of the question where he talked about why he likes Joe Flacco and why he has a lot of faith in Joe Flacco as the team's quarterback with Zach out. Zach and Garrett are friends. Like, anyone taking that as a shot at Zach, Garrett just answered the part of the question about what do you like about Joe Flacco. He didn't answer what's the difference between the media and they're running with it. I didn't think that was fair that people were like, it's an indictment on Zach Wilson. That's silly talk. Seattle is saving their first-round picks in case a box safety becomes available. That's funny, Dave. You're right. I mean, I'm sure Seattle would have loved to have had a first-round pick these last 2 years, right? My God. Now they're going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. Luppy says, how much will Brees Hall play in Monday night's preseason game? I hope not much, honestly. I mean, if you want to play him for 5 to 10 reps, fine, but I don't think he needs that many reps. I think we know Breece Hall is good. Vanquish Film says, do you think we will make the playoffs and beat the odds because we have a great team? Hashtag go Jets. I do not think the Jets are a playoff team in 2022. Obviously, I'd love to be wrong. I do think the Jets are going to go over their win total. I do think they'll have a season that's alive in December. But you got to be realistic about where this team's at. I don't think they're a playoff team, but hey, why not? It could happen. I'm just trying to be realistic. Prestige says Jamal Adams did this to himself. He did. No one's got any sympathy for Jamal Adams. Forced his trade, wanted to go to a team that he thought was going to be good, played on Seattle for 1 year where they were good, and then this past year they were bad, and he was hurt, and he wasn't good. He got his money. Now he's got to lie in his bed because that team stinks. Enzo says, what did Zach's college coach say? Go rewind to the beginning of the video if you want to hear the full breakdown on Kalani Setaki's comments about Zach Wilson. Balloon Boots says, I think the Jets can definitely win against the Falcons, not the best team. I mean, it's also preseason, so who knows how long the Falcon starters are really going to play. The Jets are a better team than Atlanta. You know, Atlanta fans probably don't want to hear that. They still think they're good. Like my buddy TJ, who I went to college with, he's a huge Falcons fan. He sent me Connor Hughes' tweet being like, who is this guy, clown guy, talking about how the Jets were better than Atlanta? And I'm thinking to myself, dude, they are. So, like, I'm sorry, it's not a hot take. The Jets are better than Marcus Mariota and the Falcons, who stink. You go to tankathon.com. The Falcons, I believe, have the highest odds to get the first pick in the draft. They stink. The Jets should be better than Atlanta. So I'm not surprised. But we'll see how long Atlanta even plays their starters. It means nothing, ultimately. It's a preseason game. Fifth Dimension Gaming says, how much do you see MC playing this season as running back 2? He's going to, look, I know he's technically running back 2, but he's going to play a much bigger role than a running back 2. I think Michael Carter is one of the leaders on this team, and he's going to be good. John says Garrett Wilson's nickname is G-Wiz or G17. He's wearing the number 17. He plays for the Jets. I think G17 makes sense, no? Luppy says, will we see the starting defensive line this preseason? I'm not convinced we will, Luppy. I don't even know if Carl Lawson's going to play tomorrow. Honestly, I wouldn't play him at all, but we'll see what they do. Nick says, Jake, do you think the Jets add any players when final cuts happen? I do, Nick. They've always added guys after cuts in Joe Douglas's first 3 years as GM. So I would expect that to continue. Prestige says, it's funny how Seahawks fans try to act like they won the Jamal Adams trade. Not only did they lose that trade, they historically lost that trade. I was talking to a Seattle fan when I was in Vegas, and the person was trying to tell me, oh, well, who are the Jets even going to take with those picks? They're going to suck anyway. I'm like, oh, yeah, AVT and Garrett Wilson, they're bad, right? And then shut them up real quick. Ricky at work says, Jake, you remember we tweeting you my mock draft with Garrett Wilson and Jermaine as first rounders? Turned out even better than I hoped. Looking forward to Garrett Wilson this year. Ricky, I don't remember that at all, but I appreciate you interacting with me on Twitter, and I'm glad you got your wish with Garrett Wilson and Jermaine. It did work out even better. No one thought they'd get Sauce, Garrett, and Jermaine. Vanquish says, I always watch your show. Keep giving the people the information we need. I'm in Atlanta, so I have to deal with these Falcon fans for years. We will get better in due time and shock the NFL. It's funny because there were like Atlanta fans that were like trash talking like the Jets on Twitter because like the Jet Pete was reporting accurately that the Jets were kicking the Atlanta Falcons' ass at these practices. And I'm thinking to myself, an Atlanta Falcon fan is talking trash to a Jet fan? I mean, that's like, I mean, come on, man. Like, pop me kettle. Stop it. Both franchises are failures overall. I mean, as bad as the Jets have been, I almost rather not go to the Super Bowl if we're going to blow a 28-3 lead. Sorry. I mean, give me a break. Honestly, Jet fans, would you rather go to the Super Bowl and blow a 28-3 lead or not go at all? I might be in the minority on this. I'd rather not go. I don't think I could deal with losing a 28-3 game in the Super Bowl. I probably would have offed myself that night to be fully transparent. So there's no chance. Now, I'd say, would you rather that and then you have to lose 28-3 to the Patriots? You blow a 28-3 lead to the Patriots, but obviously that couldn't happen because it's the AFC. Cameron says, Jake, Garrett Wilson is G-Dub. G-Dub, G17, as long as he plays well, we'll call him whatever he wants to be called. Joshua says, praying Zach works out. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Wouldn't that be amazing? Hawk says, I was in a Falcons stream last night. They're going 12-5. Talk about delusional. They're going 12-5 with Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder at quarterback. Good luck with that, Atlanta. PCR writes, can't wait to shut everyone up. Can't wait. That's right. The Jets are going to get that opportunity to do it. Luppy says, Jake, I'm with you. I don't want to go to the Super Bowl without winning. There's a difference in going to the Super Bowl and losing. If the Jets had lost the Super Bowl in 2010 to Green Bay, would it pain me? Yes. Would it hurt? Yes. But I'd rather go than not go at all. The example I'm talking about is very specific. You go to the Super Bowl and you lose 28-3. Would you? I'd rather not go at all than go to that game. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe some of you are like, I've never seen the Jets in the Super Bowl. I want to go. I don't care. I agree. I've never seen it either in my lifetime, but I'd rather not go if the Jets would blow a 28-3 lead. Sorry. That's too painful to stomach. I'd rather lose in the championship game than go to the Super Bowl and blow a 28-3 lead. Vinster says, I was at training camp yesterday and it felt like an ant under a magnifying glass. The heat was rough in the bleachers. Hot day in New York. Hot and muggy day. Let's see. Highlander says, Jake, I believe that the number of Zach Wilson critics seem to be wishing for him to fail because they never liked him. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy phenomenon. Look, you're not wrong. Here's the reality. If someone said Zach Wilson was a bust going into the first round and the Jets drafted him and they said he's a bust, nothing he did his rookie year would change your perception. And then he gets hurt, has a bad interception. Yeah, the haters are out and about. Ultimately, it means nothing if Zach Wilson comes back and plays well. He could shut all those people up. So that's the reality. Zach still has all his opportunities in front of him. He's going to play this year. Ricky says, at Ohio State, Garrett Wilson's nickname was the Freak. Yeah, look, he's a physical beast. I cannot wait to watch him. PCR says, that Steelers game for 2010 still haunts me. I invited all my Bills fan friends over, and yeah. You invited Bills fans over? Come on. It's a bad idea, PCR. That's on you. Ricky at work says, I've only gone to a few Jets games, but of the ones I went to, we won all but 2. Well, Ricky, they need you in the building for as many games as possible this year. Pat says, the Jets are undefeated in the Super Bowl, but if you go to lots of Super Bowls, you're bound to lose some. The Patriots are 6-5 in Super Bowls. I mean, correct. Look, I want to see the Jets go to as many Super Bowls as possible. The one example I'm talking about is the Atlanta one. I'd rather not go if we're going to blow a 28-3 lead. I would not be able to stomach that as a fan of the Jets if they went to a Super Bowl and they're up 28-3 in the football game and they lost. Thomas says Flacco would actually take this team to the playoffs. I disagree with that, Thomas. I think we're making too much of Joe Flacco. Dermot says Sam Darnold is better than Zach Wilson. That's just a ridiculous comment. We're going to put you in timeout for 5 minutes, Dermot, so you can think about your sins. Steven says Joe Namath still being alive is a jinx. There is no Joe Namath curse. I'm sorry. I just don't buy into that one. I don't buy that one. We're not slandering the great Joe Willie. Not on this show. Not on this show. Can't do it. I don't buy into the Joe Namath curse. Luppy says, I've been a fan for 52 years. I'm excited this year. This seems to be the most complete team since 2010. They have a lot of talent. It is young talent, and they got to get off to a good start. I think that's the key. Yoshi says 21 days until kickoff. 3 Sundays from now, we're either going to be in a jolly mood or a pissed off mood. There's no in between as Jet fans. 3 Sundays from now. Hennessy says, I don't understand how a Jet fan would want your starting quarterback to fail. It's only been 50-plus years, people. I think most Jet fans, Hennessy, want Zach to do well. I believe that. Like, why wouldn't you? I think the Zach haters are non-Jet fans. That's how I look at it. Big Green says, top 3 fantasy picks. From a Jet perspective or just in general, Big Green? My team has the 4th pick in fantasy this year, a team that I'm co-managing with friend of the show, Carly. So we're looking at a running back in that spot, and I'm not touching Christian McCaffrey if he's there. Weegley says, would you rather blow a 28-3 lead or get blown out like the Broncos against the Seahawks? I'd rather get blown out than blow a 28-3 lead. Because 28-3, you think you're winning the game. Even us Jet fans would think at 28-3, we're finally going to win a Super Bowl. I'd rather just get blown out. That Super Bowl was never close. Like the first play of the game was a safety, if I recall, against Peyton Manning and the Broncos. It was like a high snap, if I recall, right? So I would rather get blown out in the Super Bowl than blow a 28-3 lead. Because the emotional happiness of being up 28-3 just to watch that get ripped away. I mean, what are we doing? At least if it's a blowout, I could like sit there and understand early on you never had a chance. 28-3, that's like I would off myself. I'm just going to be honest with all of you. I would not be here if the Jets blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Jets forever has the Jets going 20-0, the Bills 10-7, the Dolphins 7-10, and the Patriots 4-13. Well, there you have it. RC says, I disagree, Jake. If the Jets keep the game close to the Ravens, fans will walk away feeling good about this team's future. They got to win games, though, RC. I mean, maybe you're right. Some will feel that way. But if they have a game where they're up or they're in and they got a chance to win at the end and they don't do it, moral victories are going to be tough. I can't accept that. Now, if they win week 2 against Cleveland and they're 1-1, all right, maybe you start to feel a little better about what they did in week 1. But sorry. Ricky at work says, my favorite game I went to was here in Tampa. Terrible day. We got rained on all first half. Last minute, then Curtis threw a touchdown to Corbett. I was there for that, though we don't get a lot of Jet games here. That was an amazing game against Keyshawn. That was a great game. Curtis to Corbett. What was it, 2001, I believe? 2002? Is Debo a running back? No, I think he's a all-purpose wide receiver / running back. I mean, he's a receiver more than a back, but he could do everything. Their franchise was ruined after that, the Falcons. I don't think you can ever recover from that. I mean, like Dan Quinn never recovered from that. It got worse and worse every year for Atlanta. Disturbed one Nick B says, if the Jets go 20-0, I'll eat a jet engine. I'll do that with you, Disturbed. If the Jets go 20-0, we'll eat jet engines together. Vanquish Film says, what do you say when we start 6-0 with Big Joe at quarterback and the rest of the team hungry? What do you say then? Where is this Joe Flacco's playing 6 games coming from? Zach Wilson could be healthy by week 1. Could be healthy by week 2. He's not playing 6 games in a row. The only way that happens is if Zach were to suffer a setback of some sorts and he's out for the beginning of the season. Luppy says, I just found out Jets forever is Brady Quinn. He's the opposite of Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn thinks the Jets are starting 0-10. Jets forever has the Jets going 20-0. Falcons should have moved to another city and changed their name after that Super Bowl loss. There's just no coming back from that. You got to hear about 28-3 for the rest of your life. And who knows if they ever get back to another Super Bowl. It's not like the Atlanta Falcons have this rich history of always being competitive. I mean, let's be real. Neymar says, exactly. Stop the hate, Jet fans. It's so ridiculous. Zach is the best you've had for a long time. I'm a new fan since they drafted Wilson. Probably someone in Utah, if I had to guess, if you're a new fan because of Wilson. Anyone who watches this show knows I'm a Zach Wilson supporter. Well, at the same time, I'm going to be the first to criticize him if he doesn't take a step and he struggles. Like I'm a Jet fan first and foremost. I'm a Zach Wilson fan, but I'm also a Jet fan first and foremost. I think everyone understands. We all understand it's a big year for Zach and he's got to play better. I think he will. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but he's got to prove it. It's as simple as that. If he stinks this year, I'm not going to be like, well, you got to give him a third year. Why? He's got all the opportunity in front of him when he comes back. He's going to play this year. Do a couple more here, and then I'm off to see Hoodie Allen, who's in Houston tonight. He's hooking me up with free tickets to a show. Those of you who have been with the channel for a while know that Hoodie's a huge Jet fan. He'll sometimes come in and comment, and we had him on as a guest a couple of weeks back, so check out that interview. But I'm off to see Hoodie Allen tonight. Pat Riley says the Jets have nothing to fear but fear itself and the really fast Dolphins receivers and the Bills dual threat quarterback. Look, the Jets should be better than Miami this year. I'll say it. Miami downgraded the head coach. I have absolutely no faith whatsoever in Tua. The Jets want to send a message, beat Miami twice this year. Certainly beat them week 5 when you play them at home. You have to win games in the AFC East. Jets Forever says, no new fans around. You had to be here before Revis. All right, Jet Forever. We're putting you in timeout, too, for that nonsense. We're not going to tell people they can't be Jet fans unless they were here before Revis. Stop it. Stop that, Jet Forever. You're better than that. We welcome all Jet fans who are real fans, who support the team. Some people are probably, in their teenage years right now? I became a Jet fan when I was like 7 or 8 years old, right? So let's say you're now hitting your teenage years. You don't remember Darrelle Revis. You don't remember Revis, prime Revis, certainly. That's a long time ago already. That's 12 years ago, the last time the Jets made the playoffs, the 2010 season. We're in 2022. So we can't say any Jet fan's not allowed if they don't remember Revis. That ain't right, because I'll tell you why. If you're a Jet fan now, you're loyal because this team's giving you nothing. At least in the 2000s, they went to the playoffs in 2001, 2002, 04, 06, 09, 10. Like, come on, man. Better than that, Jet Forever. We're not going to fan shame here. NY to Florida checks in with a super chat. Hey, Jake, I'm back. COVID knocked me out for 2 months and was in the hospital and lost 45 pounds. So I'm fighting to get my energy. Well, let's start there, NY to Florida. He's a loyal listener to the show, a great guy. We sent him some Gustbuster umbrellas because NY to Florida made some Jake Asman is good shirts as a knockoff of the Braxton Berrios is good. Zach Wilson is good shirts. I had no idea you were sick, NY, but I'm glad you're doing better to comment again. And I'm really sorry to hear that you had to deal with that, but I'm glad you're doing okay. And thank you, as always, for your support of the show. As far as your comment, Baltimore is having personnel issues and injuries. Yeah, look, they got a lot of guys coming off injury as well. And the Jets are at home, and they have a lot of time to prepare for this team. I'm not going to sit there and say the Jets have to win that game, but they got to go out there and compete, man. This team cannot get blown out. They got to go out there, and they have to win games this year. But I can't sit here and say they got to win week 1. They got to be competitive week 1, though. Aaron says, love the show. Hit the like button. Only 66 likes. Come on, guys. Aaron, appreciate you, man. Get those likes up. Helps the channel grow. Little Slow Aces says, do we think Mims is getting cut? I do not think he's getting cut. I do not think that. I think he's more likely to be traded than cut, but I think he's going to be on this team. Disturb says, Jake, I agree with you about Zach and the team. It's all about the team. We hope he succeeds, but the team is always first. Agreed, but the Zach's going to play this year, right? Like, it's as simple as that. The Jets could start 1-0. Zach's got to play week 2 if he's healthy and had practice time. That's my point. Ragnar says, Jake, come to Vegas Raiders Stadium, BYU versus Notre Dame in October. Interview Zach. He was close to me last year's Vegas game. Well, that also lined up with the Jets bye week, Ragnar. That's why Zach was there a year ago. I will be in Vegas in October. I don't know if it's the same weekend, but I'm pretty sure we're doing our radio show from Circa once again ahead of the Jets. Not Jets. I wish it was the Jets. Ahead of the Texans and the Raiders who are playing out there. Mark Cole says, Joe Klecko finally getting his due. So happy. Absolutely, Mark. Shout out to Joe Klecko. We talked about that for a while. A lot of love for our friend NY to Florida in the comments, rightfully so. Get better, NY to Florida. Thanks for your super chat and for always commenting. Wiggly Potato says, my most vivid memory of Revis is on the Chiefs. See, this is a younger fan right there, Jets forever. We're not going to fan shame. Denzel says, if Zach doesn't work out this season, who do you think the Jets go for? I'm not even going to entertain that, Denzel, because I just don't want to go there now. I don't want to go there. Boomer says the Jets messed up the Wilson pick because Trey Lance looks big and strong and has extreme arm talent. Have you watched Zach Wilson play with his arm talent? Trey Lance playing well in the preseason doesn't mean anything. Zach Wilson did the same thing last year. Let's settle down. Prestige says, when does Revis go into the Hall of Fame? Next year. Hopefully on the first ballot. LT says, if Zach fails, it sets the team back. Some fans don't realize that. Yeah, they need to know if they have a quarterback or not. They used the second pick in the draft on him. Pat Riley says, if Mac Jones beats the Jets twice this year, I will expect Jake to call for major changes next year. I pray Mac Jones gets his ass kicked by the Jets. Look, the Jets got to win games in their own division. There's no excuse for them to not win at least once against the Patriots. Simple as that. If they stink again this year, I'm going to call for changes. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yep, Joe Douglas needs a 5th year. Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh need a 3rd year together. They got to show real improvement this year. 4 wins is not good enough. Simple as that. Hold on 1 second. Let me just look at my phone and make sure we're good to go. All right. A couple more here. Dermot says, rank the AFC East teams. Buffalo, Miami, the Jets, New England. Really? I don't think New England's that good, but the Belichick factor is always something to be concerned about. But go look at New England's roster. I think the Jets could be better than Miami as well. They got to prove it, though. I think going into the year, though, most people outside of Jet Nation would have it Buffalo, New England, Miami, the Jets. They got to change that narrative. V-Man says, Jake Trivia, what former NFL quarterback in a 3-year span bested Drew Brees and Peyton Manning in the playoffs? This is Russell Wilson, V-Man? I'm trying to think. Beat Drew Brees and Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Russell Wilson, maybe? I don't know. That's a good trivia, V-Man. Thanks for the super chat. You let us know the answer. RC says, Brown and Nagel looked amazing week 1 in his debut against the Falcons. Let's pipe down on the Trey Lance chatter. All I know is I have this from people I trust. You know who really wanted Zach Wilson? Kyle Shanahan. You know who couldn't get Zach Wilson? Kyle Shanahan. So let's stop with this Trey Lance revisionist history because he's looked good in the preseason. Who cares? It means nothing. Tyrone says, I want my team to beat the brakes off the Patriots and split with Miami and the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, look, if you could tell me the Jets are going to come away with 3 wins in the AFC this year, I mean, holy crap, where do I sign? They split with Miami and sweep New England or vice versa, sign me up. Also, I'm starting to think of V-Man's question here. I'm trying to think. 3-year span bested Drew Brees and Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Nah, I was thinking maybe Flacco, but Flacco never beat Drew Brees in the playoffs. Never mind. It's not Mark Sanchez, right? He never beat Drew Brees in the playoffs. You only beat Peyton Manning. Tony Banks with a super chat. He cuts the line. Zach had to compete at BYU. He took off in year 2. Let's slow down on the Zach hate. Tony, thank you as always for your massive support. Thanks for the super chat. I agree with you. I'm not on the Zach hate here. I'm pro Zach. Anyone who watches the show knows that. I'm just not going to be a fanboy for Zach if he struggles. That's my point. I'm a Jet fan first and foremost. We're not going to make excuses for Zach if he doesn't play well. He's got to play well. Otherwise, the Jets got major issues. Do we have an answer from V-Man here? V-Man, you got to tell us the answer to your trivia question. Mark says, Zach will be fine. Joe D knows what he's doing. I agree, Mark. Franco says, Lamar Jackson's favorite target is Mark Andrews. If we take him out of the game, we have a good chance to win the first game. Easier said than done with a Pro Bowl tight end. Not just any Pro Bowl tight end. He's top 3 tight end in football. I think it's Kelsey, Kittle, and Mark Andrews. They're the top 3. Interesting note from the joint practice against Atlanta. DJ Reed apparently had a big-time pass breakup against Kyle Pitts. If you can cover Kyle Pitts, you might be able to cover Mark Andrews. So watch for DJ Reed to maybe be assigned to Mark Andrews. That'd be an interesting matchup. Little Slow Aces says, we always play Miami close and should have beat them last year. I agree. You got to find a way to beat Miami. V-Man says, Chad Pennington beat Breeze as a Charger. Great trivia, V-Man. You're right. Completely forgot about the Jets win over the Chargers with Chad at quarterback. Yeah. 0-2, beat Peyton Manning, and then what, 0-4, Drew Brees? Do I have that right? They beat Drew Brees and then went to Pittsburgh, and we don't need to mention the name Doug Bryant. I think I have my years right. That's a good one, V-Man. Jacob Klein, Ravens run down our throats. Our linebacker and run D is bad. We're going to find out how improved it is. We're going to find out. Luppy says, squish the fish. That's what my dad always says. It's true. Jet Life says, Garrett Wilson going to be a star. From your lips to God's ears, Jeff. Barry says, I want to see Zach succeed, but I won't buy a Wilson jersey till he wins at least 8 games for us. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, Barry. I am going to tell you that I've already bought a Wilson jersey, and if any Jet fan wants a Wilson jersey or any jersey ahead of the season, make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube and then follow me on my Twitter and Instagram at Jake Asman. DM me. I'll send you a link where you can purchase your Wilson jersey of choice. Green, black, white. It don't matter. I got it right here. Got Sauce. I got Wilson, Joe Klecko, but you must be subscribed to me on YouTube before I give you the link and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Trying to get to 20K by week 1. We are well on our way. Ricky at work says, Jay, what was the year we won 2 overtime games to get to the playoffs? I mean, there's been a couple of years where the Jets have won some overtime games. 2010, they won multiple overtime games to get to the playoffs. They won 11-5 that year. Let's see. A couple more here, then we'll get out of here. Mark says, how do you feel about Joe's first draft being influenced by Adam Gase? People got to stop blaming Gase for the 2020 draft. You want to blame him for part of it? Sure. It was not a good draft, though. All right. No one told Adam Gase didn't tell Joe Douglas, you must draft James Morgan in the 4th round, or you must draft LaMichael Piron, or you must draft Ashton Davis, or you must draft Mekhi Becton or Denzel Mims. So 2021 looks really good. It looks great if Zach's a franchise quarterback, maybe the best ever if Zach is a franchise quarterback. 2022, we're all optimistic. It looks awesome on paper. The early signs are positive, but blaming Gase for the 2020 draft, I think, is lazy. You know, you want to blame him for part of it? Sure. I think the Jets have a much better system in place now. Scouts know the type of players that Robert Saleh and his staff want. That's big. So I think that's why we've seen some more success. Ragnar says, which interior D lineman can we get to be a run stuffer? I think they're going to go out there and they're going to be much better against the run because of the additions of Carl Lawson coming back, Jermaine Johnson. I think Quinnen Williams could do it. I think Solomon Thomas could help there. I think Jordan Whitehead will be good against the run. I don't think it's just only about the defensive lineman. I've given the stat before, and Robert Saleh has referenced this stat, so that's why I bring it up. According to Next Gen Stats, the Jets rank 13th in run-stopping success rate. That's 61.2%. That's a stat that measures success based on the down and distance. Now, the issue for the Jets last year was they were giving up explosive runs. If you limit the explosive runs, they actually weren't god-awful at stopping some of the runs. It was the big plays that killed them. Big plays get limited when your linebackers and safeties can come up and make plays. That was an issue last year. Boomtown says, Jake, how many fantasy football leagues do you play in? 1. Only 1. I got too many things I'm stressed out about on Sundays, from betting, the Jets. Got to follow what the Texans are doing for my day job. So I only do 1 league. 1 league, and that's it. No one cares about your fantasy league where you had this guy and you went up against your opponent in this league who had that. I don't have time for it. 1 league for me. My college friends. That's it. Luppy says JD has to listen to his head coach when drafting. The head coach's opinion matters, but I think just blaming Gase for all that is a little lazy. It's a little lazy. I'm no Adam Gase fan, but it's as simple as that. You can't blame him for everything. He's long gone. And also, to be fair now to Mike McCagden as well, 2022 Jets defense here. Out of all the starters, there's 2 players that were Mike McCagden picks. That's Quinnen Williams and that's C.J. Mosley. And by picks, I mean like transactions. He obviously signed Mosley. Now I pull up the offense here. There is absolutely 0 Mike McCagden influence players on this offense. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios, Fant, Tomlinson, McGovern, Vera Tucker. I mean, look around. Not a single Mike McCagden pick on this team right now. Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, no. Breece Hall, no. Michael Carter, no. Simple. Someone had a question about Derek Stingley Jr. that I wanted to address because I did watch him make his preseason debut. Where was that question? Here it is from Jeff Life. Have you watched Stingley this preseason? If so, what's your take? Stingley didn't play in the Texans' first preseason game. He played in the second. He was okay. He had one nice pass breakup. There was another play where he got beat on an out route, like a mid-route, post route. He's okay. He's just getting his feet wet. I'm not going to judge him good or bad. I'll be at the Texans preseason game this Thursday night in person to watch him against the Niners. We'll see if he lines up with Deebo Samuel if they play him. So we'll see. Look, I'm bullish on Sauce. I said it on the radio here weeks leading up to the draft. I would have taken Sauce over Stingley, and it worked out that as a Jet fan, I got Sauce all along, of course. But I think Stingley's going to be really good as well. He just got to stay healthy. That's the question. They've eased him in with his reps. They're a little concerned about him coming off major injury. He hasn't played a competitive game since last September. That matters. Sauce has never had a durability concern. That's why I was pounding the table for him from a Texan standpoint, and worked out for the Jets. We're going to end it right there. I'm off to see the great Hoodie Allen, Jet fan Hoodie Allen, Long Island's own Hoodie Allen in concert tonight. Appreciate all of you for watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen to help support the show, and we will continue to drop daily Jets content. Live post-game show following tomorrow night's game against Atlanta, so keep it locked and loaded to the channel as we'll go live and recap anything that happened. Hopefully, a lot of positives this time around, unlike last time we went live after a Jets preseason game when we thought the starting quarterback's leg was going to keep him out for the entire season. That is not the case. Better times are ahead. Knock on wood, that's the case. Please subscribe so you'll be notified when we go live tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, Jet fans. You guys are great. I'll talk to you all soon. Please like and subscribe. My name is Jake Asman. This has been another Sunday Jake Asman Show.